Hello, and welcome to the Passion Driven Pioneers interview series. I'm your host, John Channon, and today I'm joined by Dan Smits, who is the CEO of Growth Point Partnership. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, John.
Would you like to just start us off with a brief background as to who you are, what you do, and the business that you're in?
Yeah, so I am a serial entrepreneur that started my first business when I was 27 years old and have grown several businesses since, with my biggest one being a medical billing company that I grew over 22 years and then exited that business strategically in 2020 and really have used that experience through acquisitions, mergers, uh, and then selling the company to really leverage experience towards being a growth point COO, so Chief Operating Officer for small businesses. So we now have a service model where we help small businesses with being their COO, helping with marketing, and helping with accounting services to be that one-stop shop. They don't have to use us for any one of those things, or they only use us for one, and that's usually the COO service. So that's what I've done for the last 26 years.
So, Dan, you mentioned you were a bit of a serial entrepreneur. Was entrepreneurship something you always wanted to do from the beginning, or was there some spark that kind of got you to that point?
I would say since I was about 12 years old, I aspired to own my own business. I would talk about it and, always say, hey, I'm going to do that someday. And I started a paper route and, really took responsibility for myself and learned through trial and error. And I think it just has become natural over the years that my personality just lends towards being a little scrappy and grit and just wanting to do it myself and feeling that I can always do it just as good as anyone else. So why not take a chance?
So you've started up a number of different businesses, you've bought some businesses, and now you're basically in the business of helping other businesses by providing certain types of services. What kind of got you to this point versus kind of where you were before, and what was that initial vision that kind of helped you pull all this together like this?
Yeah, so I worked for a really structured company back in the mid 90s that was a receivables management company in the commercial space. And they were a well run machine and they really promote it from within. But because the company was so well run, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for growth for people like myself that really exceeded expectations pretty fast. So I recognize that in order for me to grow as an individual, I needed to expand and start my own business. And I started in a similar industry to that commercial receivables management company. I then started a medical receivables management because I saw a need here in Minnesota for medical collections, medical billing. So I put together infrastructure with my experience of being very organized and a good salesperson that I organized through that process of then starting my own company and then recruiting the right people. And most of those recruits initially were from my previous company that I worked for, that company, people that were looking for new experience. And then I grew from there and really recognized that being organized and being a structured leader towards being, you know, easy to talk to and really relatable really helped me from a sales standpoint and helped me from a growth standpoint of just working with people. And they saw that, you care as an individual. So that helped me then to continue to grow my business over the years and attract great people. So
So talk to me a little bit about work-life balance of a serial entrepreneur. and whether or not that's something that exists, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think the work-life balance is really a decision you make as an entrepreneur to be able to integrate your life and your fun into your business. So it all comes down to just not overthinking the fact that I have to stop working. I mean, as entrepreneurs, we're always thinking, but how do you stay organized in those thoughts and engaged with family members and other people when you're doing something that's not business related? And that's by continuing to lead by example in all those things that you do. And that way, when your business kicks in and you wake up in the morning, you're organized, you have notes maybe of things that you've thought about previous day, but it really is you're able to shut it off, but then use that business acumen and those relationships you built through talking to people through sales and running businesses to then relate to other people and help them to grow as individuals. That doesn't mean that you have to help them grow their business, but just help them to continue to be a better person. And I think that whole integration piece helps to achieve that, because you're not, just shutting down your business acumen while you're talking to people. You're using it throughout your life and everything you do.
That's really good. I appreciate your taking the time to share that with the audience. Um, so, you've kind of evolved your business over time and been in and out of businesses, but what are some of the techniques that you use to stay adaptable and open to change, or maybe the better term is to remain innovative?
Yeah, I'm really good at documenting goals and setting goals, and then reflecting on those goals and pivoting along the way, that I don't become stubborn towards, well, we set a goal and we have to achieve that goal just because we set it. I'm really big on the fact that if there is an opportunity to pivot to help us achieve that goal quickly, you only do that through staying organized and knowing your metrics, knowing your KPIs. So, really having dashboards and information at your fingertips, that if you don't have that information, it's hard to really run your companies from a nimble standpoint. So, I really prided myself on the fact that I'm adaptable for the reason of meeting the goal that we set, but being okay with adapting along the way and involving other people, having coaches, having mentors to work through those problems. And don't wait till the last second when it blows up in your face. Be proactive about it. And I think being proactive has been the reason I've been successful over the years.
Well, that's really good. So I'm going to ask you my little magic wand question. So humor me on this one. So if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about your business, what would that be?
It would really be being able to, right out of the gate, day one, be able to afford to retain the very best person that I've ever had as an employee or a team member, right out of the gates, which would help me to really move forward with my business a lot quicker than I have in the past. So it's like, as I get older, I get wiser towards hiring the right people, finding the best partnerships. I'm a little smarter at it than I was before. And I see that finding the right people to join your team, and that doesn't mean they have to be a business partner, but it means they have to culturally align with who you are as a person. And if you can find that person, watch out. You're going to go a lot further with 2 or 3 people at the top than just one.
Oh, that's really good. So thank you for entertaining that question.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's talk a little bit about the future of your business. Would you mind just sharing with us maybe a glimpse into the future plans, and you mentioned you're big on goals, the goals that you have for your business?
Yeah, so our goal is over the next 5 years to grow by 20% each year through a strategic partnerships with different organizations to help us in the areas of bringing on more clients from a COO service that really is the catapult for all of our other services. So bringing on other COOs to work on the team to help us, that those people are the salespeople, they're the consultants, they're the managers of our employees. So they're really the integral part of helping us to grow by that 20% every year, and really having strategic planning being the forefront. Our motto is, working on your business versus being stuck in your business. So our goal is to lead by example, that really building our business model to be that catapult for other people, that if they see us doing it, then we can coach them to become that type of business owner that really drives EBITDA margins, that really gets them to the next level and being able to experience a great exit strategy so they can retire with a lot of money in the bank and have a lot of fun.
Maybe let's stay with cash flow importance when you're first starting up a business, and maybe share some comments about how critical that is, right? When you're first getting a business up and going, and what are some of the things people should be thinking about as they're starting up a business around those areas?
Yeah, I've learned the hard way that a lot of times I've invested before it was probably the right time to invest. I didn't have things set up, I didn't have the game plan enough really vetted out, and I didn't have the right people at that point. And you don't need a lot of people to follow through on a plan. And I think a lot of times we invest before we should invest, and we need to discipline ourselves behind how much money are we investing in something that we're not aware of the return. So if you're buying a business, that's one thing, that you're buying, actual cash flow, right? And every time I bought a business, I think at the end of the day, I've won because I really evaluated that business and I had a good idea what they've done and where I needed to take it. But every time I've tried to grow with an investment without having something really material at that point or having the clients, I have really stumbled several times. So my advice is that hang in there a little longer than maybe you think you should before you take out cash and really invest in something that's not 100% vetted out. Be patient towards that investment, and patience towards buying the right company as well. That just because they have cash flow doesn't mean that under your structure that cash flow will continue to remain intact. So just be cautious, but still know when to pull the trigger once you've done your investigating and due diligence of that particular business or adventure that you're going to take by investing in that adventure.
Yeah, I heard somebody use the term the other day, overhead doesn't keep the lights on.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I
right.
thought that was just a nice little quick statement that kind of, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't be spending money here in this area.
Right.
Good,
Right. Yeah.
good. So just recognizing, right, that this show is really targeted towards people that are thinking about starting a business or in their first few years of business. Do you have any final thoughts or words of advice you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yeah. So I would say a lot of it comes down to, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, be a true blue entrepreneur, meaning be gritty and understand that no one's going to do it initially better than you. So if you don't lead by example and you think someone in your organization is going to do the big things and have the big wins, yes, you can have other people help you, but you have to be the person that steps up and takes that risk. And maybe you don't have the exact skill set that is required at that point, but making your tummy hurt a little bit and taking that extra risk towards you leading something and not expecting a non-business owner to bail you out of something, that you are the person initially. And of course, you can build your infrastructure around you as time goes, but there's a time and place for that. And just be cautious that you're going to be the one that's responsible for the first 5 years of business, and you need to invest the time and effort. It's other people will come along with you, but just be cautious that you're not thinking that they're going to bail you out. You need to bail yourself out.
Well, listen, I think that's great advice, and I would just want to say thank you so much for your time today, Dan.
Yeah.
It
Thanks for
was,
having
yeah, no, it was great meeting you. Obviously, we've met before, but it was
me.
good learning more about your business and your entrepreneurial journey and that kind of career entrepreneurship, serial entrepreneur that you are. And to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.